Okay, if you saw my previous MF video with the Behringer MF versus the Moog, Moogerfooger MF, you'll know what's going to happen here. I'll take a similar format to that. I'll show you what's happening using the Moogerfooger first, and then we'll cross over to the Behringer, and then I'll compare the two. And I'll start off being really unmusical, just to show you how it all works and what all these knobs do, by just putting some noise through it so we can see what's happening. We're bypassing it at the minute and we're getting just a flat noise signal. If we put the effect in, you can see now we've got 12 dips in there, 6 on the left, 6 on the right. The left is the red, the right is the white line. And if we go to the 6th stage, we get 6 dips basically. Or 3 dips if we're just going to stay in mono. So now we can move that left or right using the sweep. So this isn't the LFO, this is just moving the position of those dips effectively. So you can tune it into your sound, and then we can add the LFO. And that will wiggle it left and right, so as you might expect. So let's just turn it up a bit. LFO rate is what you might expect. So if we keep it nice and slow, we can see what's happening. So we've got the amount of the LFO, the sweep, and then we've got the resonance as well. And this peaks up those peaks basically. There we go. That gives you that real phasery sound. Get a more complex sound with the 12 stage. So you can hear this is changing the frequency of where we're listening to effectively. And it's exactly the same on the Behringer. Just check it's all plugged in. Reset this down to 0 itself as well. So sweep, let's turn that to central, resonance off, LFO rate down. So now we will bring it in. Let's just add some drive so you can see what's happening. 12 stage. Left and right. So you only get the actual 12 stages if you plug in the second on both of them. 6th stage. Sweep position. So it is behaving exactly the same as the Moog, and then the amount of LFO, let's increase the rate. Back on 12, increase the resonance. So you can hear there, they're both doing the same thing. Okay, trying with a more musical tone so we can hear what it sounds like as it's meant to sound, as it were. I've tried this a few times already, actually. And it gets so confusing with this being the phaser and this being the LFO, and that being the phaser and that being the LFO. I'm getting myself really confused. But they do sound similar, don't they? Let's flick them onto 12 stage. They're really close. You've got that sort of little, I don't know, it sounds like a triplet in there or something. That's the Behringer, and this is the Moog. I've got the resonance on full on both of them just so that you can hear what's happening. And sometimes I'm hitting the keys louder on one than the other. It's not the best keyboard to do this on, I suppose. Let's stick it onto a really low high speed rate, shall we? What have I done there? I've done the wrong one. Sail onto stun just above there. So there's the rate. Let's put it onto a higher rate, shall we? And put it onto the low. So try that on the Behringer. They sound the same to me. Let's go fast again. Let's just do that. Let's come over to this. Very close, isn't it? Not that you'd ever have it like that, but let's turn the actual amount down. It's like a broken piano, that, isn't it? So the LFO amount. Come over here. Yeah, I'm having difficulty really pulling them apart, you know. But sweep down. Which one was that on? I'm listening to that one, yeah. Gets really confusing, this. Well, they do sound the same, don't they? Unlike the Moogerfooger Murph, or the Behringer Murph, I should say, that had that funny little peak in it, which I'm sure it was broken. This is pristine. It's really good. Try that over here. We've got CV control on the back of both of them. We've got the same ins and outs, and I'm using the amount in here. So that's this knob here and this knob here to add the LFO using a Moogerfooger CP251 control processor, basically using it like an expression pedal. So this is like turning the pedal up or pressing the pedal. It'll increase the amount of LFO. So that was the Moog. And I'm just showing really that the amount of CV control is the same. You could replace them, swap one for the other, and you're getting the same results. Let's make that faster, shall we? What are we on? Which one? This one, where's the rate? It says 64. Let's go to 64. So the CV ins and outs seem to me to control it in the same way. Taking a quick look at the noise on it. That's both of them playing. If you look at those graphs that stop playing, because they're at the same level there, we've got a little bit of bouncing around on both, maybe a tiny bit more, fraction more on the Behringer for 10 them up. Is that the output level? Yes, it is. Turn the output level up on this. I find you've got to give the Moog more juice, so you've got to give it a higher signal than the Behringer. I found that with the Moog when I first got it. I thought it was broken, but so they're about the same, aren't they? Output levels on full on both of them. So the Behringer is a little bit more noisy, but it's, you know, it's minor. That, what's that? Minus 100 dB. Going up to minus 40. So there's about a 50 dB difference there between the main signal and the bleed through, isn't there? So yeah, a little bit more noise from the Behringer, not quite as quiet as the Moog, but it's not a huge amount. Turning it up in the studio, I can't really hear it unless it's at excessive levels. Listening to the drive circuits then, I've got them both on about 30%. Listening to the Moog first. Let's try that on the Behringer. Getting a bit more off the Behringer. Let's just turn it down a bit. And again on the Moog. Feel like I'm getting more level from the Behringer. So maybe just don't turn it up as much. Let's go up to, I don't know, 2/3 drive. Let's get this. So that was that was both of them. That's the Behringer. Again, I'm getting more level from the Behringer, but what about sonically? It's quite difficult to tell when they're at different levels. Maybe a bit crispier in the Behringer, a bit more distortion perhaps. Yeah, it's difficult to tell with these, isn't it? Let's whack them up to full and listen to the Moog. And then do the same on the Behringer. I'm getting the feeling that they're about the same, you know. That's the Behringer. And that was the Moog. So there you have it, the Behringer BM-13 versus the Moogerfooger. I think this is the 103 phaser. I think the Behringer is very, very close to the Moog. I wouldn't really know if I was playing the Behringer and I had the Moog insides in, or the other way around. I don't think I'd be picking one out and saying that's completely different. They are very, very, very similar indeed. Again, just like with the Murph though, the box on the Behringer, you know, it's not premium, is it? But these are just £100, as opposed to, I've not looked up how much the phasers from the Moogerfoogers are recently. I'll take a look and see how much they are. But for 70 quid, it's an absolute no-brainer if you want a vintage style phaser. It's, lots of ticks in lots of boxes with that one. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please do subscribe, ring the bell. If you're going to buy one of these, check out my affiliate links as well. That all helps to support the channel, although because they're so cheap, it doesn't really help very much. But yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for staying to the very end, and I'll see you next time.